This video is about patient demographics. We're going to be going through the new patient form. We'll review the fields that are in the form and also talk about the rules that are used to validate the data that you'll enter into the form. We're already logged into Coligo and we're in location Cassini, our test facility. When in a location, we have a create patient icon, and when we click the create patient icon, we get the new patient form. The fields that are in this form are pretty unsurprising, like first name, last name, and gender. There's a field for the patient's language, which is English by default. The date of birth should also be filled in here. The external domain and external ID are for linking patient records in Coligo with patient records in other systems. For example, some patients actually come into Coligo from HealthScreen, so we need to be able to link in reports the patient records between two systems, and that's what these two fields are for. For this example, we're just going to leave them alone, and we'll just say that this patient came in because of a marketing initiative. The constraints section has fields for daily service limit. This allows the system to stop billers from billing past a limit for any given day. The max outstanding prevents billers from continuing to bill when a maximum outstanding balance is already reached. The auto invoice day of month triggers the automatic creation of invoices on the specified day of the month. Active patients are bookable in Scheduler. Inactive patients are not. New patients, we usually don't know the payment plan type until we figure that out. If you do happen to know when you create the patient, you can choose from the payment plan types that are available. And email notify allows the system to send email messages for things like booking reminders. You should consult the patient's intake form to see that they have provided consent before making this a yes. The remaining sections are for mailing address, email address, phone number, and cell phone number. We'll talk about the rules that validate the fields in these sections. For now, we've made no entries to the form, and we're going to try creating a patient with blank fields just to see what happens. So we see that we require a last name and a first name, so we're going to go ahead and enter them. We're going to continue to leave the external domain information alone, as well as all the constraints. For the mailing address, the street address requires at least one alphabetic and one numeric character. The city needs to have at least one alphanumeric character. The province defaults to the province of the clinic. Since Cassini has a province of Ontario, we're trying to create a patient in Cassini. The default for the patient is Ontario. The postal code validation rule understands what is a valid postal code. For instance, there's no postal code that starts with the letter Z. There are rules as well for what a valid email address is, and as long as you enter the patient's real email address, it will validate just fine. The phone and cell phone numbers need to be numeric. The extensions are not validated. We won't enter anything for the cell number, so we can see what happens when we try to create the patient with blank cell phone fields. From the response we get when we try to create this, we see that the first area code and number are copied to the cell phone number fields. This might be okay if there really isn't a cell phone number. If there is, you can fill it in. And when we do, the creation is successful. You can see that the contact information that we entered is there, the address, the email address, the cell phone, and the home phone. So that's it. Remember, the Create Patient form is accessible when you have a location selected, and you work through the form in creating a patient until it stops giving you reasons why it didn't create the patient.